What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brews and Board Games. An exciting day. Arydia, The Paths We Dare Tread, has launched on Kickstarter. If you guys don't know, I actually did a video on Arydia a few weeks back. I saw this game on Board Game Geek on the hotness. I hadn't heard of it before. I clicked on it. There wasn't much there, but from what I did see, it was made by Cody Miller and Far Off Games. And I instantly got excited because they also did a game that I really like, Xia Legends of a Drift System. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go over the images. There wasn't much there, kind of speculating about what we might be able to see in the game. I would say I would link to the video, but no need. We actually have the campaign page here with a lot more information. So when I say in the title, is this the game you've been waiting for? I think it is for me. Wild Ascent came around and I was getting really excited. It launched and it was just so expensive. And then there was, some people were saying, well, you actually want the latest expansion because that's where the best mechanics are that improve on the game already. But you would need to buy the core to add that expansion. It just got overpriced. And then Chronicles of Drunagar came out. The campaign page launched, and sure enough, that's super expensive as well. And so when you're going through these campaigns, you build up this excitement, but then when you get into the campaign page, you start talking yourself out of it, right? And for good reason sometimes. It becomes too expensive. You're like, well, do I need all of this stuff, right? There's just so much stuff. Do I need this? And so you kind of talk yourself out of it, and then you lose that excitement. But for this, I think this is going to retain that excitement level. Arydia just seems to have something for everybody. Dungeon crawler, role-playing, dice, unique combat, world building, exploration. What else? Pre-painted minis. All the minis are already painted. Dual layer boards, these excellent components. I really like a lot of the stuff that I see in this game. And so when I say that I think it has something like a little bit for everybody, I do truly mean that. So let's just go ahead and explore this a little bit further, shall we? So right off the bat, they have made $470,000, $75,000 out of $720,000, 3,200 backers, about to be 3,300. 28 days to go. Again, this is made by Far Off Games and Cody Miller, who also did Xia Legends of a Drift System. Now, first up, I want to say I like that they put 720,000. It seems like a realistic goal, doesn't it? There's these campaigns. They're like, oh, funding goal of $5. One person pledges and they're like, oh, funded in 20 seconds. No, this seems realistic. I really like that they did that. So let's scroll down and let's take a look at some of this stuff before we get into the pledges. There seems to be a lot of stuff in this box. First off, that is a big box. You're going to get a lot of stuff in this game, and you can see all of this stuff on the table. Components straight off the bat are gorgeous. Really gorgeous. So this game is 1 to 4 players. It's a cooperative game. And basically the point of Arydia is you are playing as an exile. And you have to go around performing deeds for people throughout this world, acquiring what's called squills, which are these wooden tokens. And once you've acquired enough squills, you can turn those in, and you have to do that before the next harvest. And that is essentially the object of the game. So you're going to be going around this world performing deeds for people. And you can see right off the bat here, this is going to be the overworld, if you will. So there are these hexes on here, and you would take your token around to different hexes, exploring that part of the world. Now, what's cool about that is a few reasons, but let's scroll down because I think it was down here. So here we go. Here is the overworld, the world map, it says. So the coolest thing is you move your token around. This is a tri-layered board, And so basically the hexes are covered up. You don't know what it's going to be. It's not randomized. It is set. Like there is a certain tile that you're going to explore, but you don't exactly know what that is, especially the first time playing, right? So the cool thing is you just pop it out with your finger. You press it down, you flip it over, and then you can explore that hex further. And so what happens is you would lay out this map, if you will. And it's cool because it said it's hand painted maps. Obviously it's not going to be painted. They're just going to be copies of hand painted maps. But that's neat. I think the artwork in here is top notch. I really like that stuff. And what's even cooler is on this map, like when you're going on the adventure exploring that location, you are going to have these certain interest points, and you're going to be able to take your character up to those interest points, and you're going to be able to talk to NPCs, explore caves, go up and down steps, stuff like that. But what I really like, as you can see on the screen right here, when the first time you're playing, if you've never seen this house before, you go up and you're going to enter this house or this tavern, whatever it is. It's covered up, so you can't see what's inside right away. So maybe you don't want to go explore that house right away. Maybe something is going to stop you. I don't know. But then I like how it just has this board that you're going to pull out of a tuck box, and you're going to flip it over after you've read a little bit of story, and then it's going to show you the inside of the house. I really like that idea. Not like the house isn't explored right away when you set up the land. You're going to have to go and interact with the door. When you open up the door, then the house is revealed. I really like that because it allows you to expand the map as you go, and not everything is revealed. And what's cool is when you interact with certain things on the board, whether that's an NPC, something else, players can actually take on the role of the whatever you're interacting with. So if you can see on the screen here, Darley the innkeeper, a human man, demeanor is suave, and actions is a big grin. So you can take on the role of Darley, somebody else at the table. So you can actually role play, with your character and Darley. And what's also cool about that, what you'll find out later, whoever is playing as, like in this case, Darley, you can acquire what's called role play points. So you can actually then spend those role player points like in combat and stuff like that to add to an attack. I think to add to a roll or something like that. So this game, from what I am seeing, really encourages role play. But I don't think it's going to leave you in the dark. Like it says here, the demeanor is suave, and it might give you a little bit more information about how to act. So if you're newer to role-playing games, it's going to help guide you a little bit. But if you're experienced, take it away. Take it away, right? If you play D&D or some other type of role-playing game, you might be at home here. Just take on the role, make up whatever you want, say whatever you want, as long as it's kind of within character and you're good to go. But I like that because, not only you're going to be interacting with everybody else, one, because it's co-op, and you're going to be going through a dungeon crawl. You're going to have to make decisions together. But it also encourages that interaction with each other that I think is lost on other dungeon crawl games. If we think about some of these other dungeon crawlers or games in general, if you're I'm specifically talking about dungeon crawls. You read a little bit of story, right? You go into the map, and then you perform the fight, and then you come out and then you read some more text. I think what this is going to do, it's really going to put you into that world. If you role play as your character, that gets you into the theme a lot more. You become invested into that character more. So it makes you want to experience the game, right? You feel like some of your actions have greater importance than they otherwise would, that I think is lost on some of these other games. So I think adding this role-playing feature, I really like that. Different events, so you can explore events, represent moments of tension and urgency that only come around once, okay? So you'll be given choices, points of interest, data with points of interest in which you can interact, use your senses to find clues, discover secrets, and learn about your surroundings. So there's going to be all these little things on the board that you can interact with. Points of interest, events, NPCs, stuff like that. The combat is pretty cool, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then the loot. So each character is going to have a set path. And then on that path, you're going to have certain skills that you're going to be able to acquire, but that you'll be able to choose from, as well as loot. Now the loot, I don't believe you can look inside of this box. I think you just pull out of it blindly, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a set. I know it's a set amount of loot for each character that you play as, but I don't know exactly how the loot works exactly, as far as taking it out of that box. You can level up on these gorgeous dual layer boards. Some are tri-layer boards. I want to talk about these boards for a second because this is fantastic. When I saw this, I was hoping, when I saw Arydia, I was hoping that it would be at least as good as Zaya. So far, all of this stuff has far exceeded my expectations. Look at these boards. These boards are absolutely gorgeous. I love the design. I love that they're dual layered. You can slot things in. You know, they're not just cards that you put on top, and you have a lot. I think each player has 3 dual layer boards. Maybe one is a tri-layer board. You're going to have one for all of your skills, one for your character that you're going to be able to put gear on and stuff like that. And I believe one other is for, what else am I missing? Maybe leveling up and stuff like that. Your leveling up and other actions. Yeah. All the minis are pre-painted, and I think there's 60 pre-painted minis, and that is quite a bit. You guys know you have those games where you buy this thing that has all these minis and they're unpainted. You're never going to paint that stuff. Not to worry, they come painted. And I can tell you, Zaya, the minis in there were pre-painted as well. Excellent. Excellent. You don't need anything more than that. Now the setup. This is another thing I really like about this game. You can see here they're stacking the 3 boards for each character inside of this little tuck box. Now what's really cool about that is you can see, if you look closely on these boards, they have like all the level up points still stacked in the board. The gear is already on the board, so you don't have to take that off and then store these boxes in there. Just stack them on top of each other, slide it right in this, and now you're already done putting away your character, and it's that easy to set it up again. That is a awesome idea, because also we have these games that are awesome, but we don't want to set them up because it takes forever. This is going to take care of that. And one thing that I didn't mention about the minis is, yeah, you can see that there's only a few of these bodies here, right? But you can actually take the heads off and put on a different head. So you can customize the character a little bit. You don't have to, if you're playing as the Path of Shadow, you don't have to play with just this mini. You can take off the head, put on a different head. Really like that idea. And there's a few paths. They look pretty cool. Path of Wandering. Looks sweet. Open world, we were already talking about that, so you can travel wherever, exploring those. Now that world map that we were looking at before, they are going to have 45 plus locations on those little hexes. I think that's what they mean here. 45 locations. So this is a legacy game, but with 45 locations, and each of those is going to have all of this, you know, adventure map that you're going to have to set out. 45 is plenty. That is a lot. So while a legacy game, I think it's going to be kind of replayable, because you might not explore every single place all the time. Or maybe if you go to a certain place, maybe it's a different setup, you know, that you lay out that map when you explore that tile. I don't know for sure, but that seems like a lot, right? And honestly, how many times are you replaying legacy games anyways? And plus, I think there's going to be plenty of content that it's not just going to be like a 10-hour game, right? It's going to be, I know it said, what, 40 plus hours? I forgot exactly. So it's going to provide you with a decent amount of combat. 300 plus unique hand-painted areas, and these areas are gorgeous. I love this art. I think it's perfect. For some reason, I am really getting good vibes from this art. I like it a lot. I do. And there's a ton of it. You know, it's got different terrain, you know, caves, you know, water. You can see snowy places. It really looks good. Really looks good. Next up, let's talk combat. And I think the combat is really unique. I haven't seen it before, and I really like it. So let's go scroll down and see the example that they're giving. So right now in this example, they are using their sword, and the sword is going to have these values underneath of the strength stat. You're going to use a token to activate the sword on your turn, and you're going to roll a d20. Now you are going to add that d20 result to your strength modifier, and that modifier you're going to be able to level up over the course of the campaign. So whatever that result is of the d20 and that strength modifier, you add those together, and then you are going to look on the sword to see where the value is. So in this example, they got over the 16 plus on the sword, And what that is going to allow them to do is perform 3 hits, as you can see here in the example. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, because they got over that 16 plus. And they're placing gems on the enemy. So you can choose 3 hits to, go in a certain pattern. So right now it says, they used it to go on the bottom of this wolf here, all on the bottom, as you can see here. But what's cool about this is you can actually choose where those go, potentially going over certain spots that might be crits, right? Critical hits. So if you do, maybe it performs another benefit for you. There was an example that they did on a rat, and the rat only had, I think, 3 hits that it needed, and they only got 2 hits. But when they passed over a certain section, they got a crit, which then allowed them to perform that 3rd hit. So your results, you could have, a mediocre turn where you're only doing the 1 hit, but then you could have these epic attacks, when you choose a certain pattern. And I really like that. So you could perform 3 hits, right? Or you could go perform 3 hits going over a pattern, doing even more damage potentially. So really cool that it provides these, options. And then you could possibly perform an epic attack. I really like that. And you're going to also gain what's called like this combo. And what's cool about the combo is you can spend this, and this is a group pull. So as people move and perform certain things, this combo meter is going to grow. And then you can actually spend some of that combo meter to perform another skill of some sort. And I really like that. The community pool might be really interesting. You guys are really going to have to communicate and say, all right, well, can I spend 2 of this or 3 of this to perform this attack? I could kill this enemy, right? I really like that idea. And I thought there was one other cool thing. This is the rat that I was talking about. It passed over this critical space, and then it performed that 3rd attack. So I really like that. The combo system, it's going over the skills. Really cool. This is talking about more of the combo. Now, taking a look at this skill here, the taunt. I like that they're doing this, right? If you can see here on the this pattern here. I like that. The triangle is going to be you, and you can taunt enemies in that certain pattern. For some reason, I like that instead of just being like everybody all around. I'm sure there's going to be cards like that, but I also like that they're doing certain patterns here. For some reason, I really enjoy that. And then you can see here the spin attack is hitting kind of that same pattern. They're spending the combo like I was talking about. And then the monsters will also go. Now the monsters seem pretty cool too. And let me break this down a little bit. On that same track that you have the combo, they're going to have this threat meter. So they're going to draw cards. And the card might say, as you can see on the screen here, that this threat meter is going to go up 2 spaces. And then that's their turn. But then if they draw this card, for example, it says all monsters. We look to see where the threat meter is, and then we look on the monster cards themselves, and we see where that threat meter falls in place. So if they have a higher threat meter, they're going to be able to potentially perform a stronger attack. And we can see that breakdown right here. So in this case, they're only at the 1, and they would move 5 and then perform their bite action. If they were at over 3, they would move 5, and I don't know exactly what this symbol is, and then they would perform a frenzy. And then it says what the frenzy attack is here. So pretty cool. I like it. Simple, and I think it's pretty unique. I really like it. And you can see here it's just breaking some of that down. But then also, this is a really interesting feature as well. This die is going to be rolled, and we can see when they're performing bite, next to the bite you have this yellow icon here. Same with frenzy. So they're going to roll this yellow die. Now how this works is you're going to roll this die, and it's going to have patterns on it, and it's going to say where on your character the bite is going to hit. So we can see here this black space, it actually hits our little glove here. And why that's cool is different parts of your body, if they're equipped, they can have different shield values to stop some damage. So the attack did 2 damage from the bite, but it hit at our glove spot, and the glove spot soaked up 1 point of damage. So only 1 went through, and we move our HP down 1. I really like that. I think that is so cool, these pattern type things. So you're going to have to gather gear throughout the game because you want to cover up all these spots because it could hit anywhere, right? I like that a lot. Overall, this game looks really cool. I love this earning XP that you can slot it right on the board. You're going to be able to level up. You're going to have little cards that you're going to mark off as you're gaining, strength, dexterity. This is your skill tree. You're going to be able to pick and choose. And you can see that the paths are kind of broken down, right? If you pick this skill here, then you're going to have to pick this skill, and then you're going to be able to branch out from there. So cool, unique tech tree, and I really like that. Items and equipment, you can slot it in. How nice is that? How nice is that? Seriously, on a dual layer board, just slotting in your weapon right there. Awesome. And so here is the part about the role-playing points I was mentioning earlier. So it says, whether you're speaking with an innkeeper, investigating a disappearance, or sneaking into a mansion, do it all in character. So you are going to be able to, other players, take on the role of certain characters. And if you do, you are going to be able to acquire roleplay points. And then you can spend those roleplay points on other things. I like that, man. Like I mentioned before, getting players more involved in the game, I think is really good. So far, this seems like a perfect blend of like a role-playing game and a board game. I really like it. Spending RP, it's talking about choices, secrets, stuff like that. All right, so now let's talk the pledges. There's pretty much only one unless you're like a retailer, and that's for $165, everything, with the exception of one expansion. It says MSRP $240, so this is going to go to retail. If I would imagine if it is successful enough, which I think it is going to be. So $165 if you pledge now. That's a huge difference. $75 off. Obviously, I don't know if that $240 is going to remain true in retail. It could come down, could go up a little bit. But for $165, $75 off, I think that's a great deal. You are getting a ton of stuff in this box. Like I said, all the minis are pre-painted. We still don't know what these other figures are going to be, but all these heads you have here for customization. I mentioned that the paint jobs on these Zaya models are good. I would imagine, and we can see here, it's going to be really good as well. 300 plus map cards, artwork on those, absolutely stunning. I'm loving all of that stuff. I believe the artist is Mr. Cuddington, who also did Title Blades. Really love the artwork in there, and it looks like the same style. Gorgeous, gorgeous. You can see 50 pre-painted monster minis. They look pretty cool. We still don't know all the minis that are going to be in the game. 900 plus cards, 200 event cards. It's breaking down all the cards here. Tuck boxes, which are really nice. You're going to be able to store all of your stuff in. 18 player boards. It says 6 character boards, which are dual layered. 6 equipment boards, which are dual layered. 6 skill tree boards, which are triple layered. All these dice, all these wooden tokens, these chests, which store all of these. 100 plus loot tiles, which are cardboard. All these plastic cubes and gems. 4 monster hit dice, and I don't know if these dice are a little bit larger. I think they are. Like, I don't think they're your standard size dice. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure. All these punchboard tokens, 40 XP tokens, 3 world maps, which are triple layered as well. And there is just so much stuff in this box. I do think this 165 is worth it. I do. I really do. And then you have the Epic Hunt, which this is a Kickstarter exclusive for 25 bucks. And I believe there's only, yes, probably a character, some other, oh, here it is. 1 pre-painted mini, 20 cards, and an alternate set of certain skills available from the start of the campaign. So not a huge expansion, but if you want more Arydia, it is here. It's going over some reasons of why to back. You are getting $75 off the MSRP, which is really good. Early delivery, You are going to get your game before the retailers. So all these people that are getting their game before the backers, not here. You are going to get it before them. And join the community. We listen to our backers. This is a huge reason for me as well, why I think I probably am going to back. Far Off Games and Cody Miller, they just really feel like they're trying to make the best product that they can. They put a lot of love into the game. You can feel it in Xayah, right? There's just some of these companies, Chip Theory Games comes to mind as well, that they just really want to look out for the customer. They want to make the best product that they can so you have a good time. They really want you guys to like their game. And I think that's really cool. That's just passion and you can feel it. And I've spoken to Cody on occasion through email, Board Game Geek, and YouTube. And he just seems like a really cool guy. Really nice, really nice. So I can't say enough good things to say about Far Off Games and Cody. And setting the goal for $720,000 is realistic. It's not one of these companies that are just putting it for $50,000, saying they funded in 1 hour, and oops, we actually needed more money, right? So I think that's great. There's some previews. I encourage you to check out Mark's preview with the Dice Tower on Arydia. He did a pretty good job. And then the last thing I wanted to go over is shipping. So you can see the shipping estimated cost here, right? Obviously it says these are only estimates. They'll be able to get a better idea as time goes on, especially with the whole fiasco going on right now. Who knows? 25, I think it's pretty good. Now EU, I don't know what the status is with you guys. I feel like it's always kind of a toss up. 24 to 50 is kind of a big gap. So hopefully they find out more information as time goes on to give you guys a better understanding of what you're going to be able to expect. And rulebook is coming soon. So let's just go back up to the top. We can see here it even has all the nominations for awards that Xayah was up for. And if you guys haven't played Xayah, I highly encourage you to give it a shot. I really like it. If you guys like exploration, sandbox games, space, give this one a shot. It is awesome. So I do have high expectations, and I do think Arydia is going to deliver on that. The estimated time that it's going to come, to your doorstep is December 2022. I can't say enough good things about this game. I really like what I'm seeing. I was blown away. Again, I was hoping for as good as Xayah, and I think it is definitely far exceeded my expectations. For me personally, this is a game that I have been looking for. Again, Wild Ascent came around. I was excited, saw it, heard some other things. More reviews were coming in, and I was like, and the hype kind of died down for me, which kind of tends to happen sometimes, but not as much as it does for other games. And then so Chronicles came around. I still do like what I'm seeing in Chronicles, but it's not as good. I was expecting to maybe do an all-in, but then it kind of went to a core pledge, which I think is where I'm staying now. But Arydia is one of those games that I think this is what I'm looking for, right? If you like D&D, you got the role-playing here, or any kind of role-playing game, you got it here. You like gorgeous components, right? Here it is. Pre-painted minis. Exploration. I already named it all off at the beginning of the video, but I think there's something here for everyone. I truly do. And I think there's a lot of unique stuff in here. I like the dice in here as well, or the combat, I should say. I think that's interesting. Being able to perform a certain pattern with your attacks, really cool. And the enemies rolling the dice to see where they hit on your player board, really like that stuff. I like a lot of things that I'm seeing in this game, and I can honestly say this has been the best looking game so far in 2021 as far as like the campaign page that I'm seeing. I really like everything here. I think it looks absolutely stunning, and I think they did a phenomenal job. I cannot wait for this game. I am gonna back this, no question in my mind. And I'm excited, man. This is definitely the best looking one that I've seen this year so far. So that's gonna be it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you're excited. Any questions that you have, something that I missed, something that you want to add, anything, or just let me know. You just send me a comment. I'm always here. I answer the comments, so feel free to ask away. So until next time, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This has been Brews and Board Games. Thank you for watching. And until next time, grab some brews, play some games, and I'll see you guys later. All right, take care.